I had dreams about elderly women coming up to me with hands full of leaves, offering me these leaves and telling me to consume it. And for 3 years, I knew that this was going to be a part of my journey. And what's up, Cosmonauts? It's Cosmo Bliss here with you right now. Today's topic and video is going to be a little bit heavier. It's the reality of my reality, so let's dive in. This is gonna be a difficult one because I've never on this channel even opened up about this specific thing in general. I made a video a really long time ago about it, but then I never uploaded it because I was really embarrassed. It's pretty much the question, why did I go to Peru to take ayahuasca? And I had thought prior to going to Peru for 3 full years, 3 years, I had visions of being in a jungle, and I obviously knew it was South America. I had visions and dreams about constantly taking medicine and putting it in my hands and drinking it in these dreams. I had dreams about elderly women coming up to me with hands full of leaves, offering me these leaves and telling me to consume it. And for 3 years, I knew that this was going to be a part of my journey. And I really was terrified of this, actually. I was so excited and drawn into it, but I was terrified. That's why I obviously held it off for 3 years, because I just didn't want to figure out what exactly was inside of me and what was wrong with me. And 3 years passed, and there came a breaking point where I knew it was finally time. And after so many times of taking other psychedelics and other plant medicines, each time informed me that I was getting closer and closer to this opportunity, I suppose, but I didn't think I would get to the opportunity in the way I did. In a really fast way, I'm gonna try to explain how I got here. I, as many of you guys know, have suffered immensely with severe depression and suicidal thoughts. And there's been something else that I have suffered with that I've never informed. I'm laughing because it's like really actually uncomfortable, and I laugh because it's a disguise. But I also suffered majorly with an eating disorder, and it affected my life so much that there just came a point where I couldn't handle it anymore. Like, I literally couldn't handle it at all. And I had severely had this eating disorder, anorexia and bulimia, in high school for strongly a year and a half, like every single day, like immersing myself in this torture. But in general, I have been struggling with it since, how old was I? I don't even know, 13, 14, and now I'm 23. I still struggle with it to this day, and I always see these people talking about, oh, it's gone, and never deal with it again. No, that's not how it's been for me. It's like, I've gotten so much better, and ayahuasca helped me in so many ways, but it's still present. So, why I went to Peru was because my breaking point with my eating disorder and suicidal thoughts and tendencies hit a point where they were actually endangering me so severely. I was stuck house sitting in Canada during the winter for 3 months. I got so depressed that I wouldn't leave the house for 2 full weeks. I didn't leave the house at all, didn't see anybody. I started falling deeply into my eating disorder again, and I was just so depressed. And I remember my mom came to visit me, and the whole time I ruined it. I made her feel so belittled, and because when you feel so much hatred for yourself, it's so hard to love other people, and it's so hard to not snap and to be impatient. I contributed to these stupid fights, and I remember one day after our fight, she just went to bed, and it was like during the day and I felt so terrible. But I was looking out the window and it was pouring rain in Vancouver, and I looked out the window and I just kept having this thought, like, I am literally gonna kill myself. Like, it's time. I just came to the full conclusion, because my eating disorder was just, I couldn't control it anymore. Like, I would starve myself so much and binge so hard out of just like extreme anxiety, that one night after my mom and I got in a fight, I got a whole big pizza and breadsticks, and that entire night, it was vegan, but the entire night I just stuffed my face and ate the entire thing. And I remember just crying and crying, and then going home and then eating more, and just like feeling like I just couldn't handle it. Like, my body couldn't handle it, but I couldn't stop. I lost all control, and that's what binging is. But I was reflecting out on that experience and the millions of experiences I've had like that with this disorder. And I was just like, I've hit this point many times, but this time felt so surreal and so committed that I looked out the window and I was like, I will kill myself because I cannot suffer anymore like this. And there was just this moment of like despair, but also because I like made the conclusion of that despair, there was this feeling like there is an alternative, and the choice is, it was so weird. It all just happened so quick. And it told me the choice is you go to Peru and take ayahuasca and try one more time, because I tried so many avenues. I felt like I tried everything to fix myself. But this time it said you go to Peru, you take ayahuasca, and if you do not do this, you will kill yourself. And so I remember sitting with that. The next day my mom woke up and I came to her and I said, I'm booking a ticket to Peru to take ayahuasca, and we need to research together, and I would like your support in this. I was like, as you know, I am severely suicidally depressed, and I don't remember if I told her I was still struggling with my eating disorder, because it'd been like 3 years since I last told her I was okay and everything. But yeah, she actually totally agreed and thought it was a great idea. I was so surprised, and that was the first sign that this was really meant to happen. And that day I booked a ticket. Well, I emailed a few retreats, and one guy replied, and he told me I could, because I had no money, he told me I could come for a work trade. And I literally a few weeks later drove down from Vancouver to LA to get a flight to Peru, and was there in Peru for 2 months. And my primary reason for going to Peru and to take ayahuasca was to heal this eating disorder and the severe depression and the need and desire to die. And each ceremony was so insane. As many of you guys have seen my other videos, every ceremony was just all death. It was all the worst experience ever. It was just so much self-hatred and so much pity and grief and shame. And what I realized, how this correlated, all of my ceremonies correlated to my eating disorder, I don't know how, but it made me realize, because all of my ceremonies were literally so sexual and about being raped and wanting to like literally kill myself in every ceremony. And it was so weird, but these experiences made me realize I developed an eating disorder because of immense sexual shame. So I had so much sexual shame and trauma from childhood that some part of me convinced myself I did not deserve to eat. I did not deserve to feel fulfilled, and food is fulfilling. And so when I would consume these things and I would physically feel fulfilled, I felt ashamed. I felt I didn't deserve this type of love. And there's so much more to it than just that, but I remember each ceremony literally, I said this in so many other videos and it's embarrassing, but I don't know what it means, but I literally would have my left hand in my, not in, but like holding my vagina, because I just felt so much grief there, so much pain, and then my 2 fingers like in my mouth, making myself throw up, like all the ceremonies. And it was so overwhelming and so dark that, I don't know, it's like every ounce of shame and self-pity and hatred like was forced out of me. And I'm not saying me doing ayahuasca like cleared my eating disorder completely, but I can say that every single ceremony, I really want to go more into detail on this. This is just the first video to the whole series of things I want to talk about. Going there and taking ayahuasca, and not only that, but being in the jungle and being away from society and technology and these comparisons of what physically we're meant to look like, sexually we're supposed to be, because I wasn't partaking in masturbation, sex. It relieved me of this tendency for that like 2 full months. And I remember coming back from Peru and I was astonished. It was like 3 months in afterwards. And I had no tendency to starve myself. I had no tendency to having any type of disordered thought process. For 3 months or so, I didn't feel like suicidally depressed. I felt a little bit sad because I didn't know what to do with my life after that, but it all worked out as usual. But something about going there and literally re-experiencing my trauma sexually, and then my trauma that I put on myself, reliving my eating disorder in the most grotesque way, and to see how I destroyed this temple and this body, and how destroying myself, I destroyed Mother, and I disrespected so much this gift of this body and how it's supposed to help us. And the whole time, every single lesson I learned from my ayahuasca experiences was just about gratitude, about love and gratitude, thanking the simple things in life, thanking my body for operating. And so when I got back, I remember for 3 months or so, I didn't binge, I didn't feel the need to starve myself, I didn't do anything like that. But now has been the time where I have to reevaluate and try to relearn the same lessons over and over and over again, because yes, my eating disorder and severe suicidal depression has come up ever since ayahuasca, because ayahuasca is not the cure-all, but it totally pointed towards some aspects of myself that I didn't see. I didn't see that my eating disorder was 100% correlated to sexual trauma. I did not see that whatsoever. I didn't comprehend it. And so now the gift after ayahuasca is just to reincorporate these lessons and try to, I guess, gain conscious awareness on how we feel and how things affect us and why we get triggered and why we treat our bodies and our minds a certain way. And I feel like you guys may have quite a few questions on this, because this is such a diverse topic and I have so many different areas, but I feel really rushed right now because I'm at work and the babies are about to wake up. But that is the reason why I went to Peru, and yes, it did help me to a great extent, but it also didn't, because I have since then struggled severely with these things, but it did shed light on areas I would have never become aware of. And it's now, ayahuasca has now put it into my hands to have the knowledge that I now have, and to apply it, and to desire true healing, and to consciously be aware of certain tendencies and coping mechanisms that I experience. And if any of you guys also have experienced similar things, or are in such a low place where you no longer know what to do, there are so many of us, I believe and I hope, that are here for you. If you are in a similar situation and you're just so lost and just so far at a breaking point that you just don't know what to do, because I have been there many times, and honestly, I would love to help you guys, and to, if you feel inclined to go to Peru and to partake in these things, to try to assist you in this healing process. And Peru and ayahuasca is not the answer. And I think the most healing thing, it was being in the jungle surrounded by conscious plants and earth and beings who are also desiring healing, and most importantly, being completely away from technology for a certain amount of time. Being away from the need to wear makeup and to look a certain way and to impress people. That was the most valuable thing for me. The ayahuasca was incredible, but without the environment outside of that those ceremonies, they would have almost, this is going to be really harsh, but they almost would have been meaningless. Because if I wouldn't have had time to have nature teach me and to learn how to integrate these ceremonies, it would have had zero effect on me. That's a huge statement, and I hope it doesn't offend anyone, but that's my reasoning for going to Peru to do ayahuasca, and I hope that this video didn't offend anyone or trigger anybody. And I will be making more videos on this heavy topic because it is very real and people do suffer immensely with these things. And I pray that you guys are all well and that you're in a place of allowing yourself to feel love.